everyone, welcome to today's video. If you are struggling with anxiety and depression and maybe even just a lack of relationship with your teen, then you are in the right place today. So I would like to give you one thing, okay, that you can do to help your teen. So stick around, keep watching, all right? And we're just going to get right into it to find out what that one thing is that you as the parent can do to help your teen with anxiety, with depression, and with just even connecting with the family. So if they've been just a little bit, like there's just really hardly any relationship anymore. So here's the one thing. Are you ready? All right. Having your teen have a social media pause. And I know some of you might be thinking, what? Are you kidding me? There's no way my teen is having a social media pause. Do you know what that will do to the family? Like, oh my gosh, if you think they're bad now, just wait till they get off social media. All right. So I know. You're like, hey, you're right. I don't know your teen, but I do know several teens that they do have anxiety. They do have lots of just depression, and there is no relationship with their family anymore. And that is because of social media. Now, if you notice what I'm saying here, when I'm saying a pause, I didn't say get off of social media forever and have that end. I said a social media pause. That is the way you would bring this to your teen as well. You don't just want to say, I've just been thinking, and I know you've been really depressed lately, and you just have been so isolated, and I think it's time you get off social media. Yeah, that's going to be like an explosion. So when you're dealing with teenagers, that is the one thing you do have to be very purposeful with your words. Purposeful with the way you say what you say, with your tone and with the words itself. So that's why I'm saying a social media pause. Not get off social media and then I'll let you know when you can get back on, okay? So that's not the same thing, all right? So this is just if your teen is really, you're just noticing some signs, okay? So also, I do want to say, there are some things that you might just be thinking, well, maybe I don't think my teen really is struggling that much, and I really don't think they need a pause from social media. And that might be true. I do know some, believe it or not, responsible teenagers that use social media, maybe just one platform, and that's just the one thing that they use, and they're very responsible with that, and that's how they connect, and that's how they can contact and with their friends, okay? I'm not saying every teenager is irresponsible. I'm not saying every teenager is addicted, which I'm not saying every teenager, because I actually know some that don't even have social media, okay? So not every teenager is. So with that, I do want to ask you a few questions though, okay? How much time does your teen spend on social media? Like, do you even know that? Is it 10 minutes? You're like, 10 minutes? Are you kidding? I wish it was 10 minutes. Or is it 10 hours? So that's something for you to think about, okay? Here's another question. Do you know what platforms your teens are even on, for that matter? Or how about this? How many even social media platforms that they're on, but how many even I'm trying to think my word. I even want to say accounts, okay? How many even accounts does your teen have that you don't even know about? How many secret accounts? I've worked with teens for over 25 years, and I can't even tell you how many of them have come and be like, oh, I have the secret account that my mom doesn't even know about. My dad would freak out if they knew about this secret account that I have. So that's, do you know that? Do you know if they have any? And, do you even remember what your teen did before social media? For that matter, do they even remember what they did after they begged and begged and begged to have social media, and it's not going to be that bad? All my friends have it, and that's all everybody talks is with this platform, that platform, whatever it is, with Snapchat. Before it was Facebook and now, Snapchat, that's how everybody talks. That's how we find out what's going on. And that is kind of what then you give into, right? Because your teen is begging and they want that. So then you get that for them. You let them have it. And then they just take advantage of it. And now it's become something that they're like, wow, like you don't even see your teen anymore because they're constantly on their phone. So here are 5 signs, okay, that you will know that your teen, okay, needs a social media pause. All right. So number 1 is if you've noticed a change in your teen, okay, and not for the good either. Okay. I'm talking like a change. You're like, wow, okay, where did my teenager go? Which I know, that can be the case for many things with your teen, because one minute, they're one way and just, they're just kind of all over the place. Now I'm talking like a change in your teen that is really noticeable, okay, that everybody is seeing within the family. So that's number 1. Number 2, if your teen is on their phone late into the wee hours of the night, all right, and you might not even know if they are, okay, but most of the time teenagers are. If they're going to bed with their phone, most of the time, yeah, they're on their phone way into the wee hours. And that's so that, anybody who, if they need to get a hold of them and contact them, then they have their phone right in hand. Number 3 is if your teen pretty much only uses their phone for social media, okay? And remember why you gave them that phone? Are you remembering that? Was it because, so if they need to get a hold of me, if they are with their friends, if they are out and about and they need to contact me, they need me to pick them up, it's a safety thing. Remember when that's why you gave them a phone? And now is their phone completely like a social media? That's it. It's only for that. And they're so busy taking all these selfies, right? Or the duck lips all the time, that they're so consumed with themselves now with this phone that was going to be used for emergencies. It was going to be used for because they needed to get a hold of me. All right, so that was number 3. Now number 4. Here's number 4, that if you are thinking, hey, that your teen can use a social media pause. If your teen is consumed with just getting likes, everything that they post, and they just got to go see if anyone responded and how many people like what their video was or that picture that they had of themselves, most of the time, isn't it, right? Of themselves, that they're just consumed with that now. And number 5, if your teen has become obsessed with what other people think about them now, when before maybe, that they weren't that concerned about it. It wasn't that big of a deal. But now that they have this social media, that it's an obsession now. Like, wow, what you would have never even thought, that this new change in your teen, what it has developed into. So those are just some 5 signs, okay, that you would be noticing in your teen if your teen needs a social media pause. So here is a little personal, all right, quiz for you, the parent, all right? So it's just 4 little questions, okay, that I want you to think about. And I really want you to think about these things, okay? Not just kind of brush it off. And you can even maybe put some responses into the chat. And number 1 is, how much time do you spend on social media? How much time do you, as the mom, as the dad, spend on just your phone, all right? Now really think about that. And I really want you to answer that, okay? To yourself. You don't have to, hey, yeah, you can put it in the chat. You can tell me, let us know, because I actually really do care. I really do want to know the things that you think as the parent, not only your teen, but you as the parent, because I'm here to help the parents, all right, with teenagers. And when you talk to me and tell me things too, then, hey, I can help you even more, all right? So question number 2 in this little personal quiz is, do you use your social media as a journal for yourself? That you're just constantly putting all these things, you would put in a private journal, that you're just airing it and putting it out for all to read. And especially things about your teenager. A few things, but I gotta tell you, your teenager does not like you putting all kinds of things about them on your Facebook. All right. So that's, sometimes, yeah, it's okay. But as they get older and more into high school, then a lot of times they're not really excited about, oh my gosh, my mom is posting about me with Facebook, that things that I don't want them to be posting. So you might want to check with your teen if, hey, can I post some of these things? Okay. And number 3, how much actual conversation do you have with your teenager every day? Okay. Not on a weekly basis. I'm talking on a daily basis. How much time do you even purposefully think about a conversation with your teen? Okay. And really truly think about that. Wow, how much time have I talked with them? And I'm talking actual conversation. I'm not talking about that you sent them a text message or because you do connect with them on their social media. Okay. Sometimes I hear this, that parents will say, well, that's the only way I can connect. That's the only way I can communicate. Really? That is the only way you can communicate with your teenager is through their social media platform? That's really something to think about, because is that really healthy even for yourself? Is that something that should really be the only way that you communicate with the teen that's in your home and in your life? All right, so really think about that one. Okay, the last one, number 4, is does your teen make comments about how much you, mom, dad, are on your phone? Because again, that used to be the thing, didn't it? Like, we sit at the dinner table and, hey, there's no phones. We go out to eat. Hey, no phones. Everyone has to put their phone away. But is it like that now? I don't know if you've noticed, because maybe you're on your phone way too much and you go to eat. You're going to go eat pizza. You're going to go get a burger. And the first thing that, if you look around, how many people are on their cell phone? Okay. And I'm talking from like almost the baby to like the grandparent, even, that people are on their cell phones. I don't know how many times have you gone to the movie even. And as soon as the movie ends, I've been to the movie and the person probably was like in their 70s and pulls out their phone and is like instantly on their phone, the grandparents. So we have become just as much as being on their phone as the teenager. Just as much as like when we would get mad because, oh my gosh, they're always on their phone, and playing games and just doing whatever, right? How many games do you have on your phone? What are you doing with your phone? So I really want you as the parent to think about that. So if you want your teen to have a social media pause, okay, that might be something you need to consider for yourself as well. Do I need a social media pause too? But within those 5 things that I had said about, like the 5 signs that your teen needs a social media pause, those are, if you notice a change within your teen, if your teen is just on their phone late into the wee hours, number 3, that they're pretty much only use their cell phone for social media, all right? And 4, that your teen is consumed with just, getting likes from the things that they post. And number 5, if your teen has become obsessed with what other people think about them. So those are the 5 things, okay, that if your teen is really needing this pause. So if you're thinking, okay, my teen does need a pause from social media, but how do I even do that? What does that even look like? Well, I'm going to give you some things what that would look like, okay, if you decide to have a social media pause for your teen. And again, when you're doing this and saying this, you want to be real purposeful with the words that you use, okay? It's not, you need to get off social media because it's ruining your life. Yeah, that's going to totally freak your teen out, and who knows what they'll do, right? Who knows? Because here's the deal. Your teen is definitely, for the most part, when you're telling them, hey, you need to take this break, you need to, get off your phone. Hey, it's an addiction. It truly is an addiction. So that's why you're got to be using choice words with what you're going to be saying here. So it's not just get off your phone and put it down. That's why they have anxiety about not being on their phone, because they're addicted. The same as someone that, when they're addicted to drugs or alcohol, the fact that they need to quit, hey, that causes anxiety. This is the same thing for your teen and their phone. That's the same thing for us as adults in our phone. When you leave your house and you forgot your phone, hey, you'll turn around, won't you? Heck, right here, I know I will. Doesn't matter how far down the road you are. Maybe half an hour, like, oh my gosh. And then you feel like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do without my phone? And you start thinking about how much you don't have your phone, which, like I said, I have turned around and gone to get my phone. It wasn't half an hour, but you know what? You're thinking about it, definitely. So when we're thinking that our teen has an addiction, so do we. Yeah, we do too. So, but in order to have this little pause, okay, you just kind of think about some things. So here's what it would look like, all right? So a few little things is what you would do is, first of all, in the midst of your pause is think about how much time, okay? Now, I'm not even talking a month unless, of course, you want it to be that length of time. That's totally up to you, but I'm kind of basically thinking about 14 days, okay? So in the midst of this, you're going to say to your teen, the best thing to do too is like if you're sitting like at the table, you know, that you're like, hey, you know what? I think we need to just have a little bit of a talk here. Let's just have a little discussion about, you know, some social media. You know, I've noticed that you're really depressed. I've noticed that you seem to be more anxious. And I've noticed that, you know, the family time that we are having, there really just isn't any. And I would really like to get some family time back, is to start getting a little bit more connected with you. Because you know what? Hey, truly, the teenage years are like, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, it's like forever. Are they ever gonna grow up and move away? Is sometimes what you feel like. And then when they do, you're like, are they gonna come back? You know, we are just as much all over the place with our own emotions. But yes, having teenagers in the home can be crazy. It truly, truly can be. And when you want to possibly have this pause, okay, that's what you want to do. You want to make it as no big deal as possible. And you don't want to say, even if it's like a month, if you truly, you know, feel like your teen needs a month pause, then you say 30 days. If it's going to be like 2 weeks, instead of saying 2 weeks, because 2 weeks sounds way longer than 14 days, okay? And whatever it is, the length of time that you decide, all right? So say it in days as opposed to weeks, okay? Because your teen registers their brain that way, like, weeks, oh my gosh, a month, oh my gosh. Because remember when I've said before, teens work in like their brain, like their function is like in dog years, okay? That's still the same thing. Oh my gosh, that's forever. I can't be off my phone for that long. So you give it in days, all right? And then, now remember, okay, this is not a punishment, unless it is a punishment, okay? That's a whole different story. And that's not what I'm talking about here today. That would be a total different video, but I'm not talking a punishment. I'm just talking about a pause, okay? And then that's what you say. As you sit down and you're talking with your teen, hey, you know what? So I just think, you know, I've just noticed some struggles that you're having. And I just think, how about if you just take a little bit of a, you know, a pause from social media, and let's just see what that does for you. All right. And you just make it real lighthearted, you know, like kind of like no big deal. If they freak out about it, let them have their moment. Okay. You absolutely have to let them have their moment, and don't get mad. Do not, oh my gosh, I'm just trying to have a conversation with you and I can't believe that's how you're acting. Okay. Please do not act like that. You might want to, but you need to, before you sit down, before you have this conversation with your teen, you need to be preparing your own self for the conversation on, okay, if they get mad, what am I going to do? If they freak out, what am I going to do? Have that little play within yourself so that you know in advance what you're going to do, okay? So if they freak out, get mad, you know what? Hey, let them have their moment and don't even say anything. You don't have to say anything at all. You just need to just be calm and be quiet. Just be quiet. Don't even say anything. Don't give them dirty looks. Don't be rolling your eyes like, oh my gosh, that's so ridiculous. Can't even believe they're acting like that. They're so immature. So immature. Okay, because even though all that might be true, but that's not what we're here for. That's not what you're doing, okay? You're just letting them have their moment. And you're being, you really want to have your tone in a really low, like where you're feeling the compassion of them having anxiety. You're feeling the compassion of them having depression and being disconnected from the family. You want to have it out of a gentle concern, okay? That's how you want to have your tone be when you're going to be suggesting and bringing up this social media pause. So if you do it for 14 days, okay, you have the conversation with your teen, gentle conversation, and then you're going to just say, hey, so what do you think? Let's just, I just think let's just try it to see if that helps out with your depression or the anxiety. And tell me what your thoughts are, and then listen to them. And you need to really decide, like, okay, I really am going to do this, because you cannot be wavering back and forth and be like, well, I was going to, and then they decided, well, I don't think they need to. You need to stick with it and be like, yeah, let's just try it. Okay, it's just 14 days, honey. It's not that long. It's just 14 days. So let's just give it a try. And you're not even saying you're going to take their phone away. All right? You're not even saying that, because it's not a punishment. You're just saying, hey, let's just get off the apps for a while. All right? Because I know there's a pause on there that you can do on those. Hey, if they got to delete it off their phone, hey, that's fine. Okay? Because that's what you're doing. You're just doing a 14-day pause, and that's it. All right. If it extends out to longer than that, hey, that's great too. All right. So again, you're calm. Okay. Another thing that you want to say, and it's guidelines. Okay. Again, you never want to use the word rules. All right. Because that, in the state of someone who's rebellious, they're instantly going to be angry and mad, like, oh my gosh, rules, I got to break those rules. Okay, what's my first, and that's how their brain is working. Okay, what's going to be the first way that I can break the rule? Okay, all right, yeah, I can do that. Oh yeah, that works. That's even better. Okay, yep, I can do that right now. As soon as they're done talking, because they're not even listening to you because you said rules, they're already coaxing up the plan on how they can do whatever they got to do to break that. So guidelines, okay, what are the guidelines? Are going to be is, okay, one, and you can sit down with your teen, write these things out. So here's some guidelines. If you have them written out already, here's some guidelines that I just kind of thought of, that just kind of came up. I just, for us to kind of stick to, because if we're going to do this, we're going to really do this. It's not going to be you sneaking your phone or sneaking the apps or sneaking what you want to do, okay? Because we really want to do this for real, okay? Just so it can help you. Because this is the one thing that's going to help your teen, remember, with anxiety and depression and connecting back into the family, all right? This one thing, that's it. This is one thing. I know it's huge, but it's one thing, all right? And that's what you can even say. Hey, it's just one thing. It's just one thing. So you can have it written down. So there's, no sleeping with your phone, okay? We're going to have the phone come out of the bedroom, and that would probably be to where you, yes, would probably need to have the phone in your room. I know the biggest thing is, oh my gosh, well, what am I going to do? That's my alarm clock. Well, then go buy an alarm clock. What are they, like $10? Then there you go, all right? That's what everybody else does in the family, has an alarm clock that we use. So then that's what you can do, is get your teen an alarm clock so that they don't then sleep with their phone. Especially if they're so addicted to the phone that they are at everybody's beck and call at 2-3 in the morning, okay? Because they need to be there for their friends, all right? So, and usually they're, again, connecting through social media. All right, so they're not going to sleep with their phone, and you're going to set the guidelines, all right, for however long. I'm saying 14 days, and they're not going to be sneaking anything in the sense of their apps, okay? So then you would probably want to have an accountability thing going on with each other, and again, making it fun, okay? Make it fun, make it lighthearted, okay? Not like, were you on your phone? Let me check. How many apps are you on? Okay, not like that, because that is not fun. That is like the killjoy, and that's the opposite of fun. All right. So when you're sitting down and you're saying, you can ask them. So okay, so what do you think that we should do in order to show that you're not on the apps. Like, okay, what's your suggestion? Okay, ask them those things, because that is a really good question, right? Because when you're asking them, getting them involved, then they're going to be more apt to participate, all right, to see what you're talking about. So that's what you want, is them to participate. And then another thing is, remember, this is not a punishment, all right? This is one thing that I feel as your mom, as your dad, that I can do to help you with your anxiety, with your depression, and with your lack of, and really, I wouldn't even want to say lack of being involved in the family, because that word right there, lack of being, like that statement is like, where their brain is receiving that completely different. So when you have been isolated away from us, when you haven't, hey, we miss you, say that type of thing. We miss you being with us. We miss sitting there watching, movies together. We miss just sitting at the table and talking at night. We miss laying in bed and just laying there and talking with you. Driving, going for a drive. We miss being with you. Say that type of stuff, okay? Because that's what's going to get into their heart to be like, wow, okay, where they understand that. All right. And then another thing is make a plan of things to do, all right, in place of what the social media time was. So seriously, if they're every time that you see them, they're just constantly that on their phone, like they can't even function their life. Think of something that you know that you can do, okay? Together, especially, because remember when you said, I miss you, I want to have more time with you, and I just like us to just start doing something together. So if you have a thought that's already written down, I thought maybe we could go for a walk every night after dinner. I thought maybe we could start going on a bike ride. I thought maybe we could plug into this particular TV show. I thought we could do a craft, whatever it is that you're interested in, drawing, music, playing something, learning an instrument, I don't know, whatever it is that interests your teen and interests you, the family, where you can start doing those things together. Pull out a board game, go to the store and buy a board game. Not playing the game on your phone with each other, all right? Because that's part of the break there, is to get off of the phone, all right? So you can start having tangible person to person, this is what we do time, in place of social media time, all right? So have a plan, all right? You bring that plan to the table, almost literally to the table, and you are presenting it to your teen, okay? In a lighthearted, concerned way. And even you can ask your teen, so what things do you think that, we could maybe do together? What are some thoughts? And as that 14 days is happening, it doesn't mean that, maybe you can add something else in there, all right? Just go on a drive, think of something, be creative. Or even if you're not creative, hey, just sitting outside, listening to the birds, sitting outside with your phone down and just enjoying the outdoors. So it's not even like you have to be hiking or doing something specifically, but it's just getting yourself off of those things and start enjoying something different. So that's what it would look like, okay? That's how you would talk to your teen about it. And again, it's lighthearted, because I just, I really want to stress that this is not a punishment, all right? So that's what you want to be stressing to your teen. Because again, you are thinking of their anxiety, you're thinking of their depression, you're thinking of their disconnect from the family. So this is the one thing that can help with that, okay? So then after that 14 days, then you talk with your teen. And then kind of in the midst of things, you can kind of see how things are going. But at the end of it, then you sit down again. Hey, maybe you go for ice cream, maybe you're going on a walk, all right? And then you say, all right, so hey, the 14 days is up. What'd you think? Tell me what you thought about that. Tell me what you thought about that pause of social media. Was it good? Was it bad? What, like, hey, what are your thoughts? And then let them answer. You don't have to agree with their response, okay? They may be like, oh my gosh, it was the worst 14 days of my life. I never want to do that again. You know what? You can laugh. Give a little laugh and like, oh my gosh, so what was so bad about it? Not like, yeah, whatever, that was so dumb. Why do you got to act like that? Oh my gosh, it was just 14 days. Okay, again, that's not helpful. And just ask them, listen to them. What are they saying? All right, well, it was really hard. It was such a struggle. Ask even, so in the beginning, was it so hard? And then did it get easier through the time? Or, what do you think? What were your thoughts? How do you feel? Do you feel like it helped in the midst of any depression? Did it help with any anxiety? And how about us even just being closer as a family? Did it help in any of those ways? Ask questions and then get a response. If they have a silent moment, a lot of times it's because they're thinking about what you said. They're thinking about what it was. They're thinking about the answer. So don't just try to hurry and jump. And especially don't put words into their mouth that they're not necessarily even saying. All right? Because again, this is not to be like an angry moment. This is where like, oh, okay, hey, so what'd you think? Hey, yeah, how'd it go? What were your thoughts? And something else that you might need to think about too is you as the parent might need to take this social media pause with your teen. Because, hey, that's not a bad thing either, is it? That you can sit there and say, hey, how about we do it together? And see what happens. Because you might just be surprised what it does even for yourself in that pause time, okay? And having a break from social media and the likes and the postings and putting that up there, and where it has just become way too easy, right? Because we have our phone and click, there it is. You go to eat and click, you got to take a picture of your food, where it's just a constant thing for adults, teenagers, and even younger people. So think about that. Social media pause, all right? 14 days. 14 days, it's not that big, it's not that long. And when you're saying that, make it seem like, well, it's not that big of a deal. So if you decide to do this with your teen too, hey, that actually gives the accountability right there, doesn't it? And it actually even shows your teen that, wow, you know what, I'm actually willing to do this as well. If it's going to help your teen, that's what you need to be thinking. Hey, if it's going to help my teenager, if it's going to help Sarah, if it's going to help Johnny, if it's going to help my teenager, then yeah, count me in. Then I'll take a 14-day pause, okay? Because that's what you need to be thinking in that regard. If it's going to help my teenager, then yeah, count me in, baby. I'm going to do it. So that's just something to think about, okay? That's the one thing that can help your teen if they have anxiety, depression, and just separation from the family, all right? It's something that can help you, everybody. And then, yeah, definitely, I would love to know how that went. I would love for you to put that in this chat. And hey, you can even contact me. There's different ways that's posted on here. There's links on there that you can click to, and definitely let me know, hey, you know what, Shauna, I took that social media pause. Me and my teen did it together, and this is what it was. Hey, if it was a struggle, if you're like, man, I hated it, man, I am never doing that again. All right, hey, I want to know that too, all right? Because I'm here for you. I'm here for the parent, because I want to help the teenager. In order to help the teen, then I got to help the parents, because in that turn helps the whole family. So I think that's about it right now, okay? I want to say thanks for watching this video. There's other videos in there that you can check out. There's a few live videos that you can check out as well. And let me know what you thought of this video. And if there's any other ones that you would like for me to make, because I would love to do that for you, okay? And I will be seeing you in the next video. So thanks for watching. Okay.